Because of inferior equipment, i.e., cheap government phones, earlier recordings, all of them weren't sabotaged. Sometimes it was just a device in the wind. You know how the battery gets loose, and as you shake it, it cuts in and out. So don't read too much into those notes. But some of them have been tampered with, no doubt about it. Especially the views of all of them. We don't want to go there right now. Okay? Vampirism isn't going to work this time. I found a way around it. Everything is written before it's recorded. There's no way they can make me lose my train of thought, trying to snatch things out of my head. You can't snatch something that isn't there yet because it hasn't been read. And you're outmatched. I've passed you. Here's where we form the ones. All right? The ones. The ones. The ones. An independent party. Why? Because it's a majority over both other parties, and because it represents the new Reformation. There's not going to be. You understand how this is working? Why it isn't working? Democrats, Republicans. Man, it's like some kind of Hatfield and McCoys. That's no way to run a company or a country. We're going to say this again real slow, not to get religious or anything. A fact is a fact. Okay? Let's talk about what you have to do to get your mind ready, not the politicians and other people. All right? Understand what the problem is. First, you must understand, overstand. Listen to these words. A house divided against itself cannot stand. You might have heard those words before in a sermon or somewhere. And you say, yeah, I know what that means. You don't. You got a general idea, you think. You don't. It's something you always think you know what it means, but you don't. How do you know you don't? I'm going to say the sentence again. A house divided against itself cannot stand. So, how come most of you can't picture it in your head? When I say a house divided against itself cannot stand, what pictures do you have in your head? Exactly. Now, tell us what you're picturing. Those who say you can say that you can describe a house divided against itself cannot stand. What does that mean? Illustrate. Tell us. Carpenters and construction people, please explain these concepts to these other people who quote things they don't even have a true mental picture of. Explain to them how construction works and what this literally means about a house divided against itself. Tell them how a house is divided, how the beams are placed, why it goes, why it doesn't collapse. That if you divide it against itself, if you stand it each side trying to push the other side down, doesn't work. So when you have Democrats and Republicans in the same house fighting, that's the fall of Rome. We've been on a good run, but this is the end if we don't get it together. This is it, the curtain call. Yeah, the Greeks wished they were in power forever, and so did the Romans and the Babylons and many, many, many people who thought they were the hot shots of the world. We're not new. We're new booties. We're going to be yesterday's news, like all them other people. Feel me? When the last time Spain was in the news? You know how big Spain was once upon a time? Wasn't for Spain, certain people wouldn't even be here in this land. Heard anything about them lately? Are they one of the superpowers? See what I'm saying? It can happen to anyone, including the U.S. We're starting this party because we need people from both sides. Because if both sides didn't have valid points, they would not still be in existence. Okay? They'd have been laughed away. And it's turned into some game of Crips and Bloods. The blue team versus the red team. The Democrats versus the Republicans. Now, am I wrong about their colors? That their flags that they're flying? Don't they act like two different rival gangs? They have no idea what they're caught up in. How can they be qualified to run and manage anything? They're a bunch of glory seekers, lying to you to be a rock star because they can't sing or dance. So they want you to stand up and listen to them rap behind the podium. I'm a rapper without no music, speaking spoken words, telling you, singing the song you want to hear, telling you how I'm going to solve your problems until I go down the street and tell them people how I'm going to solve their problems with the same damn money I promised you. Tired of that. It's over. We're done. We're the ones.